Welcome to another Beacon demonstration video. Today we'll be taking you through the second part of how to edit POS buttons. Specifically, we'll be tackling some of the more advanced functions available in our newer versions of Beacon software. Some of the new functionalities we have are cents per litre discounts you can now add yourself, as well as customer accounts you can add directly to the point of sale, as well as adding sub-menus, as well as date and time. We have the ability to restrict on date and time, as well as we have button sizes. You can increase certain buttons to be quite large and prominent. So to do that, the way we're going to do it is go through the same as what we did previously. We're going to go to the POS menu up the top in back office. We're going to go to edit POS buttons, and then we're going to log in with our username and password that we have in the back office. Once logged in, we'll start with the first functionality, so how to add cents per litre discount. Now, you'll need, if you see on the screen in the center, top center there is a couple of white spaces. You need some of these white spaces available in order for us to add this button in. So if you don't have any of these spaces available, please contact Beacon support and we'll be able to clear a button space there or add a row in to make some space for you there. So once we've got a blank white space, we'll click on it. So I'll click on this first space here, and you've got two options to pick from. The first one we'll do is the cents per litre discount. So if I click on that second one there, the $1 per litre Wetstock discount. So in this case, I'm going to make up a 4 cent a litre discount. I'm just going to type in 4 cents like that and just the word discount. Now underneath it, I have the ability to add a image. So I just want to add a textured image in the background. So if I go to the words button, usually in your button data sets, you'll have a series of blank images. I'm going to pick this yellow and blue one here. And then on the right hand side, it asks us under the section that says type 112 Wetstock discount, what's the value? So 4 cents is what I wanted. So I'll go 0.04. The maximum of litres. Now, if you have a set maximum, you can type it in like 150, or if you don't, I just tend to recommend typing in like a large number like that. And then under the type, so this is the alphabetical letter you want to choose for that button to appear. So if you have multiple 4 cent a litre discounts, or you have a 4, a 5, a 6 cents, you can have a different alphabetical letter. And then when you run the Wetstock discount report in the daily reports in back office, you can have a separate page per report if you have a different alphabetical letter assigned. So it's good to pick a different letter each time. So I'm just going to go the first one off the list, going to pick the letter B. And then also, which one does it apply to? Now, if this discount applies to all the fuel, not any specifics, I just leave them all unticked, and that'll apply to everything. It's only if you want to specify a specific grade of fuel that this discount is only for, then that's when you tick them specifically. Okay, so that's all we need for now. So I'm just going to hit OK. And there we have our 4 cent a litre discount button. So the next button I'm going to add is how to add a customer account button in for one of your prominent customers that you're charging to frequently. So I click on the other white blank space. Again, if you don't have one, get in contact with support and we'll be able to set you up one. So I click on it, and then I want the other function, the one that's called 79 customer account direct link. Now I'm going to actually use it against the Beacon account gem Settlement mowing. I'll pretend like this is my prominent customer that I need to charge to. So just back to my program here, I'm going to select that function 79. And I'm going to type in gem mowing as my account. Then underneath it, same thing again, pick a button. I'm going to pick maybe this aqua color here. And then finally over on the right top hand side of this, it says what customer account. So if you go back to your Beacon, this is customer account 100. So in this case, it's customer 100. And then also I've got the options for don't prompt for a signature. So if I don't want the customer to have to sign off when the receipt prints out at the POS, I'm going to leave it unticked. You also have the ability for a sales summary window to pop up. So if you have this, basically once you press the button at the POS, a second prompt will come up on the screen and just confirm the details of what the sale was made up of, what the total was. So it's an optional thing. Sometimes we have this for certain customers that have a third-party FPOS machine, and they might use that prompt on the screen to then compare the information as they're doing that there. So that's an optional thing. I'm not going to have it ticked for this case. And then the final one, allow cash out and change. So I'm not going to use that. So in this case, all three of them I don't need. I'm just going to hit OK down the bottom, and that's my customer account link added right there. Now, good time as any to always remember to go to save on the left-hand side and periodically press save just to make sure your buttons are saved. So some of our other functionalities we have in our advanced side is sub-menus. So we've just recently added this in. I'll take hot food as an example. I'm going to go up to the increase menu level here on the left-hand side, and this is my hot food. So what I'd like to do is I want to add in 2 sub-menus. One I'll do for sauces, and then maybe I'll do a second one for, say, sausages. I have to firstly clear some room to be able to do that. So you can see I've got some blank buttons already there. So I'll select it firstly, and we're going to go to delete. Okay, I've cleared some space there. So I'll start with adding the actual sub-menu button. So once I click on that space there, we can see that we are on menu level 1, but we're also on sub-menu level 0 there. So what that means is in this list of functions, we want top sub-menu, which is 0, which is the one we're on. That's actually for the sub-menu button. And so I'm going to add the sources sub-menu, and I'm just going to give it a button image in the background. I'm going to pick one that looks similar to that color, gray and blue. And that's all for now. Now, to add actual items underneath the sauces, so for example, tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, I need to actually also clear off some spaces here as well. So I'm going to select underneath it, one of those purple buttons, and I'm going to delete it. And I'm maybe going to add a second one as well. So I'll select the one to the right of it and I'll go delete. So now I can add each of the different sauces into the system. So I select one of those blank white spaces down. And what we're looking for in this list, the very last one, it says a stock item from menu level 1, top submenu, which is the one we're on right now. So I select that, and then I can give it a name. So I can say I'm looking for, it's a tomato sauce, and I can give it a button image, maybe this pink one as an example. And then now I just have to look up the item using that stock code section there. So if I look up sauce, okay, and there we go, there's the tomato sauce, that's the one I wanted, and then I'm just going to hit OK to that. And then I'm going to go also repeat the same steps, the button on the right, select it, I'm going to pick the function, stock item from menu level 1, but top submenu, yep, I'm going to type in the next keyword, and I'm going to once again pick that same color again, and then I'm going to look up my sauce item, and I want the barbecue one this time. And then just once again, hit OK. And there we go, I've added a sub-menu in there. So that's how we add sub-menus in. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is date and time restrictions. So we have the ability to hide certain items for certain times of the day or dates if you don't think they are relevant. So if an item's on special for a certain time, that can be restricted. So to show you that, we'll do a pretend like our firewood is only available on a date like today. So click on any of these buttons, or if you set up a button, the bottom half of the screen has an option there that says date and time restriction. So you can nominate a start time and an end time, and it works off your calendar date and the time. So let's say we're going to start and only run for maybe a whole day tomorrow. So I can opt and say it starts as of tomorrow, and it will also go from tomorrow to tomorrow, and I'll say it starts from exactly midnight tonight till 11:59 tomorrow night. So using those date and time restrictions down the bottom there, so from there you can hit OK to that there, and when you run the POS in its normal mode, the button will not appear there until tonight at midnight, and then it'll be visible all the time through to the end of tomorrow, and the following day afterwards the button will appear blank. And very finally, the button size. So we can have any button in a variety of different sizes. So for example, let's say maybe we're going to remake an item, let's say the firewood, as a really large prominent item because we sell it all the time. So let's say I want to make it just above it there, there's space there, and I have the ability to change the button sizes. So the default is standardly one button size across, one button size down, but you also have the ability now to have two button sizes across and one down, one across and two down, and 2x2. So let's say I want to do that large one, the quite large 2x2. I have the option to do that. Now what you want to do is before you actually add the button in, you want to firstly go ahead and clear some space. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these buttons that were previously there because they won't let you override it whilst there's currently buttons existing in the space. But now that I've cleared that space, I want to firstly click on the top left corner of the 4. So if I was going to have a 2 across, 2 down, I would do that. So I start with this top left one, I click on it, I pick my function. So in this case, once again, we are on menu level 0 up the top here. So I click on that top one, 114. I would say maybe firewood again, and I could pick a different, I could say the same background color. I could pick a different color if I wanted, maybe a brown one. I could pick my stock item like usual. And then what we have is this option. So I now change it from the default 1 across 1 down to make it 2x2. So if I click on that and then I go OK, we now have this very large prominent firewood. So firewood was like a very common selling thing. You would add it in and just helps to prominently sell it quite easily there. You can also use all of the functions we've discussed. So whether it's the date and time restrictions or the button sizes, you can also run them in combination with one another. So you could have a button that only appears for 1 day or 1 hour and it be quite large on the screen. It just depends on what suits you and what works out in your situation there. But that's basically all our advanced POS button functions. Thanks for watching our video on how to edit the POS buttons with the advanced functions. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us at support@beaconsoftware.com.au.